Hi Rachel, thank you for sitting down with me today to talk about unification. We have a lot of important information to cover, and information that I'm sure all of our Alberta CA members want to get more information about.
Thanks, Natasha. I think there's a lot of important information that we need to get out there. It's important for members to know what the unification process is, how they get involved, and to get out and vote when the time comes.
Before we discuss the newly released unification proposal, let's start with the big picture and the big question. Why has the Institute decided to pursue unification with Alberta CMAs and CGAs?
When you look across the country at the other provinces and you see what's happening with the unification projects in the other provinces, the CPA designation is the one that is emerging. In Alberta, we don't want to be left behind. We cannot operate as an island. So we do need to re-engage in discussions on unification with our counterparts in Alberta. Aligning with the CPAs helps us to maintain our influence internationally and build on the reputation that the CPA brand has.
What are the other benefits of pursuing unification with Alberta CMAs and CGAs?
Another reason is when you look at the governing models that we have across Canada. We currently have 40 governing bodies that govern the profession within Canada. During the unification process, we can bring that down to 14, which naturally will see some efficiencies. On a larger scale, it helps secure our future internationally. It allows us to still continue to influence on the national scene, international scene, as well as the mobility of our members to work where they desire to work, not only within Canada, but also internationally.
National unification started about 2 years ago, but there was a time when the Institute removed itself from the unification discussions. Why was it that happened?
Well, Natasha, when we looked at that period of time, we had a lot of unanswered questions. There were a lot of things happening nationally that we didn't have the answers for. We also heard from our members that there was not a lot of support for unification. So at that time, we decided that it wasn't the right move for the Alberta Institute.
Why has the ICA decided to rejoin unification discussions with Alberta CMAs and CGAs?
So several months later, when you look at the landscape across the country, you look at what's happening in other provinces, and you look at the amount of work being done on governance, on regulatory matters, and on the pre-certification program, we now have a lot of the answers that we didn't have before. We also have been getting informal and formal feedback from our members, which indicates there's a much greater support for the unification process, and so that's why we decided to get back into the discussions.